Welcome to Deep Thought. Look at the entire picture. And this is connected with being open-minded. Try to see the big picture with something. You know, a lot of times people make a decision about something based off something little, some tiny little thing, and say, oh, it don't make sense. It's like, hold up, did you see the whole picture? Right? I use myself for an example. I use myself because I've seen it a bunch of times. And I'm really not annoyed with it, but to me it's funny. Like I remember, like I'll have people, you know, y'all see me here. I'm generally calm, looking intellectual and all of that. But y'all seen car Rom too, right? Y'all seen car Rom. I'll be driving like I haven't stepped foot on a college campus or have anything to even read books. I'm real gully with it, right? But what if somebody only sees just that? They already come into a conclusion about my entire character. But look at the whole picture. Look at all my stuff. And then if you come to a conclusion, you say, okay, I checked out his car videos, his couch videos, his deep thought videos, his money videos. I ain't feeling them. Okay. At least you looked at the big picture. I respect that. But I had one guy, he said something, well, you know, based on that intro, because, you know, I got my, you know, my intros and stuff. I'm like, I could be telling you how to make $1 million. You're going to base something on some 30-minute things, 30-second thing, which some people happen to like. I mean, you get different people, you know? Like when I'm making a judgment, like people have sent me like videos of other people and say, hey, they said this and they this or that. I'll say, hold up. I don't have an opinion on this person. Like you got some, I ain't gonna call the YouTubers names, but let's just say they're well known. And people would ask, well, what you think about them? I always say, I haven't watched all of their video. I know who they are. They've definitely said some stuff I didn't agree with, but I haven't seen the whole picture. I don't make a judgment as to their character. I say, okay, shoot. Because even my biggest supporters, none of y'all agree with me 100%, and I don't want you to. Because that means I don't got nothing to learn from you. You know, that's normal. Shoot, I got the best of friends. Everybody got the best of friends, don't agree 100%. But you bring in those different things. But still, whatever the case, the main thing is, whenever you're looking at a person, whenever you're looking at a situation, always look at the big picture. Even things that's happened in the news, some events. Look at the big picture of it. Look at the big picture. Try to look at all angles of it. It's not always a bad thing. So it can look bad on the surface if you look at it from one angle. But if you look at it from all angles, it's like a pie, right? Now pizza pie, let me give an example of a pizza pie. They always say, look at the whole pie, right? Look at the whole pizza. Like say somebody says, they look at a pizza, right? Say it's a pepperoni pizza, right? Like sometimes I get some pepperoni pizzas and stuff for my sons. They like those home pizzas and everything. But sometimes I notice sometimes they can get a slice and it might not have pepperoni on it because of the way the pepperoni was on it, and you know, it wasn't in a place where I could spread it out. It's not fresh, you know, frozen box. But just the way it was laid out and everything, there's just some pieces not going to have a lot of pepperoni. And then some pieces is going to have more pepperoni than necessary. Now somebody just see that small piece and say, oh yeah, that ain't a good pepperoni pizza. They only got one slice on it. And I was like, no, if you look at the whole picture though, it's like plenty of pepperoni, more. It's just not spread out. Now, I'll use that analogy is you got to look at the big picture for everything. Anything happens, let's say, okay, try to look at all angles of it. Look at all angles, like any situation, like a political situation, something like that. Like especially like stuff in the news, always try to look at all angles. I don't just take something for what it is. Now, I already said, people ask me about certain political things that has happened, and I say I don't really discuss it. That's to keep that's to keep the people who track me and stuff off balance. Yeah. No, I'm actually serious. So anyway, though, but when I do look at stuff, whether I share it with people, I say, okay, this happened here. okay, what's the effect of it? In fact, that's the first thing. Even if I don't know anything about it, I say, okay, what they expect to happen. Okay, what happens from there? Because everything has a consequence. Everything has a consequence, and you don't know what can happen if this happens. You know? Like they might close, like say they close a factory, right? And somebody might think it's good if they move in with the factory. But if you look at this country, a lot of things, a lot of cities, towns, livelihoods, because that factory was closed, was affected. But then it affects other things as well. And like people don't think about it. Like if you're talking about an economy, you got to look at the big picture of it. Like people can't figure out why some business goes out in a mall, right? And they'll just look at the store. Like say the business goes out of business or something in the store, right? I mean, the store goes out of business in the mall. And, you know, they probably be like, well, we had all these good products. We had this, and whether it's food, clothing, whatever, right? You know, baseball cards, I don't know. But, and they can't figure it out. Because somebody might look at the business and say, oh, well, they just had bad business or something, you know. But it's like, well, wait a minute. What's the bigger picture? Bigger picture is the mall isn't getting the traffic like it used to. Okay, but then you look at an even bigger picture. That factory moved out of the area, so people, they couldn't stay there, they couldn't afford, they had to move. There's not as many people in the area, you know? And then it's like, oh, well, look at it even more. Why the factory move? Oh, well, the owners of it made more money by moving it to some third world country where they can pay the workers just $1 an hour. It's like you gotta look at everything. You can't just see one part and say, okay, why is this happening? You got to look at, okay, what's the area? What's the environment? You know, what's going on? You know, when they look at schools in certain areas, poor areas like that, and they say it's underperforming. Okay, well, what's the tax base in that area? What type of teachers are they hiring? What kind of resources do they have? You got to look at everything to really come to something. You got to see the whole picture. You know, what's the weather like? Hey, what's the weather like? You know, or is the is the area next to like a toxic dump or something? I mean, you got to look at everything to really see the big picture. All right, look at the entire picture. Try to see everything, and you know, it could be a lot, but never just say nothing is really like just independent of everything else. So, anyway. That's all I have for today. I want y'all to think on that, okay? And I'll get back with you. Peace and blessings.